they were very loath to actually reveal the documents they had in-house. Was there any justification for them not to reveal this information?
Listen, last week when they knew that I was about to leak the Turnbull report, they promised to do something quite spectacular on the BBC News. They filmed police commissioners and other people. And then at the very last minute, yet again, the story was pulled off.
You know why? Because they weren't being impartial enough. You see, that's the thing about the BBC. If they don't like the answer, you have to be more impartial, more impartial. You know, it's their version of the Fox News, fair and balanced. Yeah. More impartiality until you say exactly what we want you to say, which has been my experience with them. Okay, so, Neil, you've been going after this for years. Has the UK banking sector cleaned up at all since that last financial crisis?
No. We still need significant changes in law and in regulation and in practices, and most particularly in culture.
What are the next steps now going forward? Do you feel at this point that you actually are making you're winning now, finally, so making some points here? Where are we on the spectrum there?
Well, since we last spoke, and certainly in the last few months, and certainly since the leaking of both documents, sentiment has changed remarkably, dramatically. We've now got a situation where 650 MPs in our parliament across all parties, including backbench government MPs, talk of this as being the one issue that unifies the House. 650 MPs absolutely now understand this here in Northern Ireland and indeed in the Republic of Ireland. The mainstream media get it. Banking and business journalists get it. They don't necessarily fully report it.
But when you say these MPs are now aware of it, I mean, they're just going to have an inquiry, then have a commission about discussing the possibility of an inquiry, then they'll have an inquiry, and then some lord from some RBS will get up there and threaten everybody on the committee, either do what we say or we're going to evict you from the land that we own because we own all the land because we're monarchs and aristocrats and there is no democracy in this hellhole island under a cloud somewhere in the Pacific, and you can all go to hell. And that's the message that comes out of Parliament every freaking day. Is it ever going to be any different, Neil? I mean, you don't have that because you're Scottish.
Yeah, that's right. And you're absolutely right. What we're seeing is the Treasury Select Committee have done nothing. They keep having interviews. They keep publishing letters. But they don't actually take real and direct action. There are committees, having workshops and talking shops, and they've completely lost focus. And my absolute focus is getting justice and compensation for the victims of all the victims of RBS and Lloyd's bank crime. But we are going through the political machinations. What this needs is for the Prime Minister to order a public inquiry into RBS and a public inquiry into Lloyd's, into management and misconduct past and present. It also requires criminal investigations. It also requires what I call personal jeopardy. We now need to start making individual identified bankers in RBS and Lloyd's personally responsible with personal accountability. They are named in the Lloyd's report. There are lists. They've actually listed the guilty.
Okay, hold on. There's three things you're talking about there. First is the inquiry, which we just talked about, is a dead end and worthless in this country.
Yeah.
Number two would be criminal prosecutions. They go to great lengths to prevent any criminal prosecutions, any criminal indictments whatsoever, because the law works in their favor and all the speech laws work in their favor. If you even suggest that they should be criminally indicted, you can be charged with libel, taken to court, and thrown in jail by a banker because he doesn't like being called criminal, even though they are criminals.
Yeah.
So the third thing then would be public shaming. Is that public shaming, is there any appetite for that? And do you think that might ever happen where you start to see people publicly castigate these, Theresa May was just saying that, the Brexit's not going well, we need cooperation against terrorists. And I'm like, Theresa, babe, put down the high heels, get into some sensible clothes, and realize that the bankers are amongst you. You're looking at a whole parliament full of them. Yeah. The terrorists are here, babe. Do something about it now or shut the up.
Yeah, we should have some senior bankers in RBS and Lloyd's publicly named and shamed. We should have them in court, whether it's through police investigation or private criminal prosecutions. And ultimately, we should have some heads on spikes outside the Tower of London. That's what it's going to need. We're going to need the chairman and chief executives, past and present, of both RBS and Lloyd's, taken out of their jobs and prosecuted. That's what we have to get to.
Right. Okay. Now, the conversation is getting to that level of intensity where we speak in these terms that are, violent. And of course, we cannot promote violence.
Absolutely not.
However, historically speaking, let me say this, if there is no deterrent for criminal behavior, don't expect the criminals to change their behavior.
Exactly.
And there are no adequate deterrents in the United Kingdom to stop financial terrorism. And there is nothing on the drawing boards today. So the people, it's not just the bank's victims, this 65 million British people are being victimized daily by terrorism. And Theresa May does nothing about it.
That's absolutely correct. And you said earlier 30,000. Ross McEwen, Chief Executive of RBS, has written to apparently 60,000 plus British businesses that may have been, and in fact were affected by GRG. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of job losses. We're talking about families and whole communities being affected. We're talking about considerable ill health, home repossessions, and in fact dozens and dozens of suicides. People hanging themselves because they've been destroyed by the banks.
Disgusting, absolutely.
It is
horrendous.
disgusting.
But we got to wrap it up there before I throw up, as usual, when talking about the British banking system and the Prime Minister. But Neil, I got to hand it to you. You are keeping it real, buddy. Keep doing it. I don't know how you do it. I guess because you're Scottish.
Yeah.